Today, I wish to speak on dangers of theory, literary theory. We have talked of the theories. We have just begun the discussion on each theory, the major theory. Of course, there are more theories, but we have tried to cover this topic because in the department, MPhil and PhD, you form a very large, very huge group, and you will be applying these theories to your research work. It is very important to speak about dangers of excessive theory. When we are researching, when we are analyzing, reading a text, reading a book by a common person and by a person of literature are two different things. We read a text minutely. We have parameters. We analyze a text. We look into different aspects of the text. We read the text more than once. So our reading is different from casual reading. And in that context, theory and application of theory and dangers of excessive theory, this area is important in my opinion. When we are applying different theories, we must not overdo them. The basic thing is that each text, each author can be studied through different theories. We can apply different theories to the same text as the situation arises, as the need arises, as the text demands. We should vary our literary and critical tools. When we are applying formalism, we should not be engulfed in the form itself. We should not miss the soul of the piece. We are talking about naturalism. It does not mean that we have to undo the spiritual, the transcendental aspects altogether. When we are applying Marxist theory, we naturally are talking about the economics of literature, but we don't have to forget the aesthetic sides, the other aspects of literature. So it is with all theories. When we are applying post-colonial theory, we have to be very careful that we do not indulge in hatred towards any race, any group of people. Racism is bad, reverse racism is also bad. One wrong cannot correct another wrong. So we have to remain balanced because it has very dangerous consequences. If we fall into the trap of post-colonial theory, we will lose our universality, our humanity, and literature has to have an ennobling effect on an individual. Literature can be classified as literature only when it has an ennobling effect on the reader, on the audience, on the watcher, on the reader, on the listener, when it raises you as a human being, when positive qualities are enforced. Hatred cannot be allowed to creep in. So that is a very big pitfall of post-colonial theory. We have to be very careful on that. And the same applies to feminism. Feminism is a positive philosophy. Feminism is for the happiness of human life. Feminism is for better relationships between man and woman. It is not, you see, 3 decades, it's a long time, and I have seen girls studying 2 novels by, say, Shashi Deshpande, Anita Desai, Bharti Mukherjee, and suddenly they are transformed. They become, the condition of even separation comes in personal life. It is horrifying. I take extreme precaution in allotting research topic. That's the reason, because we cannot allow feminism to become a negative, bickering, anti-joy philosophy. It is not so. We will lose the purpose. We will lose the vision altogether, because you see, there are problems of boys also. There are problems of children as well. Look at the boys coming from villages, teenagers. They're lost. They have to prove themselves. They cannot even cry like girls. So you see, you don't have to lose humanity. So no philosophy, no theory is to be overdone. You are studying deconstruction, अरे सब निरर्थक है और क्या रखा है. It not that. It has to be a balanced approach. It has to be the balance between Shiva and Shakti, the balance between imagination and reality, the balance between vision and practicability, the balance between prose and poetry, the balance between fire and water, moon and sun, the balance between EQ and IQ must be maintained. IQ is useless if it is not supplemented by EQ. EQ is of no use if you do not apply IQ. So it has to be a balanced approach. The researcher that we prepare for English literature has to be a mature, balanced researcher. You see, अपने भारतीय डिस्कोर्स में भी कहा गया है, देश काल परिस्थिति व्यक्ति. All ethics, all theory is flexible according to the place, the time, the circumstance and the individual. Buddha, yesterday was Buddha Purnima. Bhagwan Buddha has told us about Madhyam Marg, the middle path. That is the study of literature. That is the methodology of studying literature. Ati sarvatra varjayet. Ati sarvatra varjayet. So we have to be very careful about dangers of excessive theory, because it is like goggles. It is like we have put on colored glasses and the whole world looks in that color only. We become color blind. That is to be avoided. There was a time, some time back, you see, I devoted a complete, I think 9 to 10 months to Srimad Bhagavad Gita. I said I will not do anything, just I will take one shlok or two shlok a day and I'll study it, and that's what I'll do. I was surprised when Bhagwan himself says that fasting, excessive fasting is prohibited. He says balanced food, santulit ahar. So I was because we eulogize fasting so much. अरे वो इतना भूखा है, इतने दिनों से नहीं खा, इतना पूरा दिन नहीं खाया और पानी नहीं लिया. And there Bhagwan himself, there is the Srimad Bhagavad Gita is the ultimate word, and there he says that balanced diet, balanced food is a greater tapasya than total fasting. So everywhere, wherever you see, you will find that excesses are not accepted, excesses are not welcome altogether, and especially in literary theory. My experience tells me to warn all research scholars, MPhil, PhD, and those from BA and MA who are planning to go for research to be very balanced in applying literary tools, in applying literary theories. You can use more than one theory. You can apply one at one point, the other at other point, and you have to be very, very cautious. This is the, you can say this comes straight from my heart and straight from my mind also. So this is for today. Thank you.